60 games and a brand new console. What? Okay. Yeah, Microsoft nailed it. Yeah, it wasn't absolutely perfect, but it was pretty damn good. Yeah, there's a lot to go through. Got a big old list here that I made after the conference, and so yeah, let's not wait, shall we? Started with the Outer Worlds, which is basically it kind of reminds me of Fallout and Borderlands, like a mixture of the two, kind of. It looks really cool, looks very fun. It comes out on October 25th. So yeah, anything through here, I recommend looking up trailers if you're interested about any of them. Bleeding Edge is a brand new, insane 4v4 brawl battle game. I don't know exactly what it is, but the characters all look really interesting and diverse, and it really does look mental, which is what you want, really, for this kind of game. Then Ori and the Will of the Wisps. That game is one of the prettiest games I've ever seen. And it comes out February 11th next year, which is really cool. And they showed off a bunch of boss battles. They look insane. Yeah, it's going to be a solid game. Ori and the Blind Forest is fantastic, so yeah, that's great. Then they did Minecraft Dungeons, which is a Diablo top-down type game. Online and local co-op up to 4 players, which is pretty neat. It looked fun enough. It may not be for everyone, but it looked cool. Then they showed a new trailer for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, and yeah, it basically showed a slimmed down highlight reel of what EA showed yesterday, and then a couple of extra stuff like controlling an AT-AT or AT-AT, however you want to pronounce it. It looked awesome. Looked truly epic. It's funny because EA's conference it wasn't a conference, it was a EA play, but it was so boring, and it didn't show gameplay with the exception of Star Wars, and also Madden, and it just was the Star Wars footage was great, no qualms with that at all, but a condensed version was actually really nice, and it was great to see it. So well done Microsoft. Then they showed off a new horror game called Blair Witch, which looked super creepy. It didn't it certainly had it was a horror game and it had horror vibes, but like it didn't make me feel terrified watching the trailer. But I suppose that's a good thing, I guess. Because it's interesting. It's kind of shooting yourself in the foot. It gives off the horror vibe, and you know it's going to be a horror game, but how scary is it going to be? Some people want as scary as possible. Some people want a lighter horror game. Some people want none. I'm in the more none vicinity. But, you know, it gave the impression that it's not incredibly scary, but it's hard to tell from the trailer. It might be ridiculously creepy. I don't know. But it looked cool. It looked really interesting. Then after that, Cyberpunk 2077. Oh my god, yes! That game is hype! It's one of the most ambitious games ever made. And yeah, Keanu Reeves is in it, and he came out on stage and interacted with the audience. He's an absolute legend, and it is coming out April 16th next year. I am so glad for this next year, because if it came out this year, I think it's too soon. They've been working on it a long time, granted, but it's such an ambitious game. There's so much to do, there's so many things and choices that matter, and I think for it to come out this year, it seems too soon, but an extra 6 months or so, that seems more like it, so I'm glad that is the case. After that, they had a game called Spiritfarer, which is a indie game, and it looked really cute. You're basically just sort of building a little ship village, but there is a lot more to it than that, but I don't fully remember it, but it looked really cute. Again, this was an hour and 45 minutes or so, maybe an hour and 35. It was long. There was a lot to take in. I'm not going to remember absolutely all of these, I apologise. After that we have Battletoads. Battletoads is interesting because the game looks good, and they've got the vehicle segments but done better. It very much feels like Battletoads of the past. The one gripe I had with it is and I don't think it said a release date, so I'm sorry about not saying when it's coming out. But the biggest problem I have with it is it looked a bit too cramped at times. And it might just be it looks like that, but it doesn't feel like that. And seeing and playing are two very different things. So it may feel absolutely fantastic when you go to play it. But from what I saw, it looked a bit too cramped. But we'll see. Then we had a indie game called The Legend of Wright, which is one of the standout games for this conference. I said many years ago when Cuphead was shown off and actually brought into popularity by Microsoft, because I was following it before then, but it obviously picked it up and blew up a bit more. I said that if it sells well, it's going to start a trend for other companies follow. Putting so much money into hand-drawn animation or that kind of style is a risk, especially for an indie group. You don't have a lot of money. You don't have a lot of resources. To be able to create something like that is a risk, because if it doesn't go down well, you've lost everything. You're putting all your eggs in one basket. But, at the same time, Cuphead has given people hope that it will sell well and will do well. And not necessarily copying that exact style, but going for something similar is what people are going to try and do, whether it's AAA or indie, and I think more indie is more of a niche. No, it's not a niche thing. It's more of a non-corporate, I guess, thing. But at the same time, people and publishers like Microsoft might come in and be like, "Oh, we like what you're doing. Let's buy it, or let's help you publish it. Let's help you fund it." And yeah, Legend of Wright is that kind of thing. It's like a pop-up book, notepad sketch world, and it feels really creative. And I'm not entirely sure what kind of game it is, to be honest. They had a lot of different themes. It looked like a platform at one point, it looked like a puzzle game at one point, it looked like a brawl game at one point. It looked like a load of different things. It looked like, I guess, like WarioWare in a sense, but not. But yeah, it looks super cool. So that's awesome. Then we had an indie compilation, bunch of good indie games. One is a game called Iconfell. I highly recommend looking up stuff about Iconfell. Really, really good. Okay, then they talked about Xbox Game Pass. Xbox Game Pass is amazing because it's coming to PC, and any game, it's basically like Netflix, but for Xbox games. And not just Xbox, not solely Xbox, anything that's on Xbox. But it is very much like... like Forza Horizon 4, for example, came out at the end of last year. The newest Tomb Raider, the Halo Master Chief Collection, all of that on PC, plus 100 plus more games for $9.99 a month. And not streaming, you can download the games. But today, or during the E3 period, it's $1 for this month, so fuck it, I'm gonna do it. It's awesome. Then after that they showed off Flight Simulator, and that is one of the prettiest things I've ever seen. It looks like you can fly anywhere in the world. That may not be true, but it looks like you can, judging from the trailer. There's at least a lot you can do, and you can get real low so you can actually see the venues, and it's just so pretty. It's so cool. I really recommend it. It's super awesome. Then Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition is coming 4K to Xbox, and yep, super cool. I've never played Age of Empires, but I know people who have and who grew up with it and loved it, and yeah, it's a stunning game from what I understand, so that's awesome. Wasteland 3 looked like a real-time strategy game, looked kind of insane at times, looked really cool though. Definitely worth checking out. Sort of rushing because my battery on my camera looks like it's about to explode. Psychonauts 2 got a trailer, but not a release date, unfortunately. They might have announced one outside of the trailer, I don't know yet. Lego Star Wars, the entire editions, games 1 through 9, all of them in one game. Awesome. That's epic. Dragon Ball Z, new Dragon Ball Z fighter game. I'm going to butcher this. Kakarot, I don't know. I've never seen Dragon Ball Z, I'm sorry. But it looked badass. So, I'm all for that. Okay, we've got a couple of indie games. 12 minutes is insane. I'm going to talk about it briefly, but watch the trailer. It is an intense thriller where a guy is talking to seemingly his wife, and she's killed her father, but her father died of a heart attack in her head, and like he's going through a 12-minute cycle of having to tell her before the police comes in and either kills him or her, or you can do a bunch of different things in these 12 minutes, but it's an endless loop, and you've got to try and, I guess, get the good ending. It looks so intense and amazing. It's worth watching. It is one of the most intense trailers I've ever seen. It's very effective. There was immediately after that a indie trailer for a game called Way to the Woods, and it has the cutest deers you've ever seen, and then it's just like super creepy at times, but it just looks so explorative. It reminds me of Journey, but it also reminds me of Rime. It's just, oh, it's so cool. It looks amazing and cute, and I want to explore the world, and it's going to be great. I assure you, it's going to be great. They made Gears of War 5. There's a new mode. I forget what the mode is called. But they showed off the mode in a sort of cinematic cutscene. It wasn't actual gameplay. They also had like a weird trailer of their faces like morphing out of them. I've not played the Gears of War series. It's something I really want to get to. I'm hoping it'll be on the Game Pass. But yeah, it looked really cool. It has an amazing transition shot down into like a basement. It was just like, whoa, what the... It was badass. Worth watching that as well. Then they showed off a new controller. It's basically like the one that you can change the buttons and the dials and stuff. It's like a better version of that. It's $150. To be fair, it looked amazing what you can do with it, but $150? No! I don't have that money. I don't have any money. No. So, yeah. Then they showed off Dying Light 2. Looks pretty cool. It's basically Zombies meets Mirror's Edge, but it looked really good. So, yeah, that's pretty awesome. Forza Horizon 4 DLC, but Lego, and it really looked like Lego Racers, but HD, and I want it so bad. It's amazing. Lego Racers again? Hell yeah, I'm all for that, all the time, all the way across the sky. Then they had Gears of War Pop game. Do not care about that. I don't like pop figures. State of Decay 2 DLC. If you're into that, there's going to be a new DLC for that. Phantasy Star 2 Online, or Phantasy Star Online 2, it's coming to the West for the first time. I think it said 2020, I might be mistaken. But yeah, free to play, coming to Xbox One and PC. That is awesome. That's super cool. I've never really played or seen much of it, but it's free to play. I'm going to give it a go. It'll be awesome. It'll be super cool. Then they showed off a game called Crossfire X. And they didn't show any gameplay, but they showed a very, very realistic cinematic cutscene of a missile destroying a building, and it was terrifying to see how realistic it was. I'm sure it'll be an interesting FPS game, but yeah, that was terrifying. Then a new Tales of game, Tales of Arise, and yeah, looks stunning. I need to play the Tales of series. There's so many Tales of games that I've seen been like, oh, I really want to play that, but it looked amazing. So yeah, definitely check out the trailer if you're into the Tales of series. Very cool combat. New trailer for Borderlands 3 and DLC for Borderlands 2, which leads into Borderlands 3, which is pretty cool. Then new game from Software, and I think written by George R.R. Martin. You know, a Song of Ice and Fire. And it's called Eldon Ring, and yeah, just looked amazing. And then finally they ended off with Halo 5. And yeah, the Halo 5 looks... Oh, sorry, well, it's not Halo 5, it's Halo Infinite, sorry. I don't know why I wrote Halo 5. Halo Infinite, and it is absolutely stunning. Looks gorgeous, looks very story-driven, looks really emotional, looks really cool. Didn't show any gameplay, but the story looked really interesting. It really kind of hooked me. But that's not all, because we got a new console, Project Scarlett. Now, this is the game changer. It is claimed to be 4 times more powerful than the Xbox One X, and it is going to have an SSD. Now, basically, an SSD will eliminate loading times. It is very interesting to see what happens between Sony and Microsoft now. I didn't know what Microsoft were going to do. I didn't know if they were going to try and do a collaborative effort with someone else. I didn't know if they were going to, like, disband and doing consoles. But no, they're going full force, and it's really exciting. The thing with this generation, and it's not necessarily going to be for all games, but at the very least for past games, loading screens will be a thing of the past, and the game to sort of prove that is Kingdom Hearts 1.5 plus 2.5. Because it's the original Kingdom Hearts games, Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories, 2, and Birth by Sleep. And they were on PS2 and PSP, and then they were ported to PS3 in a collection, and they were ported to PS4 in a collection. On PS2, the loading times for screens and worlds and stuff were probably like 5 to 10 seconds. On PS3, they were 3 to 7 seconds. And on PS4, they are like half a second, if that. That is being, like, unfair to the game. The loading screens do not exist. That is just the leap from PS3 to PS4. SSDs will change everything. For PS4, they've already said with Spider-Man PS4, to fast travel, the world takes 15 seconds to load on a PS4 Pro. Don't know how long it takes on PS4, maybe 20, 25. On the PS5, or whatever it ends up being called, 0.8 seconds. That's the difference. Loading screens will be eliminated, or virtually eliminated, especially on older games. Won't necessarily happen on newer games because there'll be a lot more in them, but it is fascinating to see where this goes. And because Sony hasn't had a conference at all, they must have balls of steel, but also confidence in their product, because they weren't ready to show us, or they're playing the long game and seeing what Microsoft do first, and maybe change things accordingly. I don't know. But this battle between them is gonna be heated up, and it's exciting. I think to be a gamer, whether you're a fan of Microsoft, Nintendo, Sony, anything, whatever you're a fan of, the games are gonna be phenomenal. The systems are gonna be revolutionary. SSDs and the new chips and processors that they're putting in is going to change the industry in a way that we haven't seen before, and that's super exciting. However, there was no Banjo. All the hype for the internet teased, unfortunately Banjo-Kazooie or remake or Banjo at all was not there, and it was disappointing. I'm not as disappointed as I should be, but it was disappointing. But hey, it's not Microsoft's fault. It was the internet hyping it up, and you know, it's probably a Smash thing. And the thing that did disappoint me is there was no trailer for Tunic, which they showed off last year, because I really like that indie game, and there was no Cuphead DLC, surprisingly enough. That was not there either. And I thought it would be, because I thought it was coming out this year, if not this year, maybe early next year. But no, they didn't actually show anything, which is very surprising. Maybe they'll release a trailer outside of the conference, I don't know. But yeah, it was a bit disappointing that those three things weren't there. But hey-ho, you know what, it's all good. And because of the hype that Banjo drew in from the internet, and if it is in Smash, the hype it'll draw in from that, Microsoft might be like, ooh, you know, maybe we should next year, hey? So that's always good. But overall, fantastic conference. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Truly awesome. Looking forward to seeing more on a bunch of the games that are announced, especially some of the indies. Really excited about Project Scarlett. Really, really cool. It's hard to say what's going to happen, but it is super exciting. So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the review and the recap. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, share the video around. Maybe check out the Patreon and my Twitch channel and Twitter and whatnot. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.